If I were just to say, what's the real story of Sunday night's loss? I can guarantee you I'm going to get 5 different answers back to back to back to back on the Mac and Jack's text line. So, Bump, if I were to turn to you and ask this question, what's the story of Sunday night's loss to you?
One, let me first say that I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Wow.
I'm really disappointed.
Dad Bump is in the building.
Yeah, and I knew this was going to be a tough game. I wasn't walking into Lumen thinking championship, got it locked up. No, I wasn't thinking that. I knew this was going to be a tough game, and it was a tough game. I think once you get behind, like you did against the Green Bay Packers, they got you. Green Bay Packers, they came out and they gave Josh Jacobs the football 9 out of 10 times on their first drive. They said, this is our best player, and what are you going to do to stop him? And the Hawks could do nothing. And you got to big up this Green Bay Packers offensive line. They did a great job. They double-teamed the heck out of Leonard. Leonard could not get loose. He was double-teamed. They made it a point. We will not let 99 be the guy that we've seen on film. Mm-hmm. They had a plan. They attacked. They didn't push the football down the field a lot offensively to start. We're going to run through some numbers doing 4-down territory. But they made this football team go east and west with these, I call them like some hooks, and then boom, a power punch to the chin running right down the gut. That's early in the game. So I think that once the Green Bay Packers established dominance early in the game, they controlled the tempo of this whole thing. They controlled the identity of this game, and they were just tougher on that line of scrimmage. And Matt LaFleur called a great game. He understood the assignment.
Yeah.
I was talking to Paul Moyer. Jordan Love isn't the greatest quarterback. You look at his numbers, and they look good. And there were a couple of throws that he made when I was scouting him against the Lions in Miami, I believe. And there were some great throws, but in this game, he didn't have to be great, and it's because of the way that LaFleur called this game. So that's the story offensively for the Packers. Offensively, they came out and they established themselves as the dominant team by saying, Josh Jacobs is the best football player on this field, and we're going to make you stop them. Seahawks make some adjustments in the second half. The defense actually played well in the second half. I know people are going to look at the score and say, what are you talking about? There's some big pass interference that kind of jacked things up, gave them good field position. But they didn't have a lot of yards in the second half. I think they had like 235 in the first half and like $120 or something in the second half. Didn't have a lot of yards. The defense kind of figured things out. Offensively, that's where I'm the most disappointed. And I respect Grubb. I love Grubb. I know him. I've spoken to him. Good dude. I just didn't understand the game plan looking at what was happening. Grubb decided to attack the edges against this team, and I don't understand why. I told y'all on Friday, the thing that scares me the most about this defensive line is when they start going east and west. Run the tape. I said, if you can just get downhill and build off of that GT pull that you showed, I think you have a chance to establish a run. Didn't do that. This is what I think. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent right now.
No, it's okay.
Got a lot on my chest. This is what I think Grubb was thinking. There was some guard tackle pulls, and there was some center guard or center tackle pulls. But he's showing them that same pull, but he says, instead of getting down the gut, I'm going to try to hit the edge. So I'm showing you the same thing, but my attack point is going to be somewhere else. What that tells me as I watch film is that maybe he felt that they couldn't handle the 1 and the 3 tech and that they could set an edge. But after Farrell Brown gets pushed back a few times, A.J. Barney gets pushed back a few times, I thought he would switch some things up. McIntosh came in. He had a couple carries trying to use his speed to get to the outside. Didn't work. You got Zach Charbonnet trying to get his speed to the outside. It didn't work. Did run a couple of zones up the gut, but they just couldn't touch the football. So now when you're down 14-3, naturally you're the way you call the game is going to change a little bit. And he felt like he had to throw the football. And it is what it is. That was just disappointing because I felt like the Hawks were better than that. I felt the Green Bay Packers were a better team, but there's a way that you lose. And it felt like you got punched in the mouth early. Defense figured it out. Offense kind of they kept trying to do the same things, essentially, and it just wasn't working for them.
For me, what the story of Sunday night's loss was, and here's the thing, I know it's a story for you too, right? This is the story for every single person, but the story for me is just really, really simple. I look at it always from like this big picture kind of feeling point of view, and it was the Seahawks had a chance in prime time to make a statement by beating a really good playoff team, and what they proved is that they don't look like a really good playoff team, that they themselves had many steps left to take. You could have won, shown that you could be a contender, and you didn't, and instead you lost, and you're showing that you have a lot of improving to do. And I don't think that what happened was that we saw a game that showed that defensive improvements through 5 weeks was a mirage. I do not think that is one of the stories to come from this game. I do think one of the stories to come from this game is you're not winning without Geno. You're not winning if the defense gets dominated at the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? Like there are other stories to take from this, but I think it's just you lost to a team that is a lot better than their record. They entered with one more win than you, but they had 4 really quality losses, are in a very tough division, and are actually a much better team than you are.
I wouldn't say they're better than their record. I say 10-4 is a damn good record.
It is a good record.
9-4 is a good record.
I'm saying
coming
the
in.
gap between the Packers and Seahawks was more than just, one team has 8 wins, one team has 9. And it's like, well, I think that it's more than just kind of like you're not evenly matched, even though your standings are just one game apart.
Yeah, that's fair. And you play in the toughest division in football.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys they've lost, I believe, to all their losses, or most of them are to their division. You got 1 to the Eagles, the Vikings, and 2 to the Lions. So 2 in their division and 1 outside of their division. No, the Packers are just a better football team. I tweeted that last night. I go, they are just better. All around, they're just a better football team. The positive is that now you know exactly where you stand and where to go. Like, what do you need to fix? Because they're not even the best team in their division, let alone the conference, and you just couldn't handle them. I do think the defense played better in the second half.
Yes.
You just look at the penalties that the defense helped out when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. A 15-yard penalty that led to a touchdown, the 27-yard penalty held them to a field goal, then another 34-yard penalty. So penalties definitely did not help. But there is a physicality about this team. If you play them 10 times, there's going to be times where you can't match their physicality. But this is like, okay, welcome to reality. This is it right here. This is what a well-coached team, a physical team, a playoff team really looks like. I think that the Hawks can still be a playoff team, and this could help them down the road. There are always positives in this situation. But now you know what it really feels like. You haven't felt something like this in a long time. You ain't felt something like this since the Buffalo Bills, and that was a while ago. And now you're reminded that there are levels to this. After the Bills, you have the Rams, which you almost beat. Then you go on a 4-game winning streak, and you play some teams who are banged up and aren't bad teams, but they're not the Bills. They're not the Packers. So they find out there's levels to this. And every man has to look in the mirror and say, okay, what can I do to get better? Because I do feel like there's a game where this is closer. There are just some things that happen throughout the game that kind of set Green Bay apart. You look at the score in 30-13. I call it 23-13. I think it was closer than what the score indicates.
I feel the same way. And honestly, like you said, the defense tightened up in the second half. I was actually surprised by Green Bay's final third down numbers, 5 of 12. It did not feel 5 of 12. That's not a horrible third down, 50% would be great on third down, so they're just shy of that. But, Seattle felt very much 4 for 13 on third down. Green Bay, you're right, their second half, and something clicked for them. Someone texted in earlier. They said it felt like Green Bay offense saw something with Seattle's defense that they were exploiting over and over and over, and then maybe the defense started to correct it a bit in the second half. Did you see that?
No, I saw them double team the heck out of Leonard and get to that second level. I saw them be more physical. I saw them set the edge. I saw them block well on the outside. They were just a better coach, more physical, well-prepared team. That's what it looked like. And there's sometimes when you get into games like that and you feel helpless. As a coach, you'll feel helpless. As a player, you will feel helpless. But you got to learn from it. And I tweeted out last night that they were a better team, yada, yada. But I go, the positive is that, man, now you feel it. I remember the first time I got dominated as a football player. I thought I was hot and nobody could touch me. And I go to this tournament, and we're playing against, they're called the Peyton Twins, I believe. I end up going to Arizona State. And I'm ranked high, and I'm thinking no one can touch me. And I go out there, and this dude grabs me by my jersey, throws me to the ground. I was like, oh, dang. There's something else out there. There's a monster out there that I haven't seen yet. And from that point on, my awareness was different. My preparation was different. I think that is what can happen and should happen for this football team. There is a different beast out there. That beast is the Green Bay Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, who you felt already, the Bills. There are teams who are built for this, built for Sunday Night Football, built for the limelight. So this is a step in the right direction, even though it feels like you just got dominated. Now you know what it feels like, and so does Mike McDonald. First-time head coach. He's been in games as a DC with Baltimore, but when you're the guy, you are the guy, and the cameras are on you after every single play, and everyone's looking to you for answers. You learn. So you always learn in defeat, and I think that's what's going to happen here. I'm sure that's what's going to happen because I know these dudes over there in that coaching staff.
What became most obvious in defeat?
That sometimes you have to do exactly what teams expect you to do. Not one time did I see that guard tackle pull up the A to B that Grubb put on film last week. Not one time. I understand what he was doing. He showed it to him, but they're trying to set the edge. You're trying to outcoach him a bit. When sometimes you just give them what they think they're going to see. And they say, okay, stop it. Prove to me you can stop this, and now we'll make some adjustments. And I was 1,000% sure that they were going to do some screens off that guard tackle pull, run some RPOs, because that was your most successful play. We did not see the most successful play that they ran. And I wonder why. Grubb he's got his reasons, right? Reasons that he'll never tell me, and that he felt confident going into the game doing and calling that play. But it just seemed like they didn't do what they did last week. Sometimes you just, give them what they want. Give the people what they want to see.
Come on.